Have you ever woke up and wondered what was wrong with you? You knew you wanted to be elsewhere, that there was more to life than the life you were living, more than the bills you were paying, the job you were keeping. Look to the horizon, to the sunsets. Your answer is there. Put your feet on the ground and take a deep breath and step into the nomadic lifestyle. You will not regret it. Gotta pull my ear off. Iced coffee. Cheers. And yes, I'm in the same outfit I was about my Narcissist video. This pertains to narcissism. So if you're here for any other reason than narcissism, or you're not curious, I have 1,000 videos or so, well actually 210, down below. Enjoy, and thank you for stopping by. If you like my videos, please like, subscribe, and share. But most of all, thank you for watching. Thank you for enduring, and for liking the quirky me. So, you know, I just did a video about love bombing, and about how I went back time and time again. You know, one of the things that I found really comforting was reading stories about other survivorists, right? And there's stories about what they went through, and they took them back. It kind of helps you feel a little more normal and not so stupid. Because, guys, I felt really stupid taking back a time and time again, just for him to do it over and over again. So let me share this story with you. This was May 2016. We had split up. You know what? The story goes way before that, but we're going to focus on this. We had gotten back together. He was again living with me, free. And true to course, he had picked a fight the night before a gig. And when he usually did that, that meant he was going to meet the fat married woman who had given us STDs before at his gig. Car sex. Parking lot. Need I say more? Yeah, they're pigs, guys. They're disgusting. But, and you know, yeah, back in, when I was a teenager, car sex was fun. Yeah. But anyhow, not knocking role-playing, but yeah, cheating in a car in a parking lot at a casino is pretty disgusting to me. Yeah. Anyhow, so we had gotten back together. He picked a fight. Of course, I'm not going to take his shit by this time, and I tell him, get the fuck out. And he leaves. And 3 days later, he comes back while I'm at bingo with a big icy, because at the time I couldn't drink enough cherry ices. Tell me, I'm sorry, you know, and he had a giddy up in his step, and I'm sorry, and you know, I love you, and I didn't mean it, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, I just didn't even think, at this point, he had gotten me to trust the fact that he wasn't seeing this girl anymore. Because she had confronted me while we were out. He had told her in front of my face to leave him the fuck alone, that he was with me. So at this point, I really wasn't thinking, and if I did get a feeling from my empath that he was cheating, I would shove it back, just considering it to be fear. Jealousy. Because I never experienced jealousy really before this idiot. But anyhow, so this particular night, of course, every time my narcissist came back, everything that happened in the past had to be forgotten. We had to start over brand new. And with that being said, I slept with him that night. Exactly 2 days later, you guys, my body is so healthy that I noticed that there was something wrong. Yeah. And I knew the feeling. Because he had given me a chlamydia, an STD, twice before this. And I knew it was chlamydia. And at this point, his ex-wife was just found to have breast cancer. He was sitting in a hospital with her while they were doing something. She had just come out of surgery, having her lungs tapped or something. And I hit him up. I said, did you sleep with her while we were broke up? Oh, no, I didn't. I said, then why do I have the signs and the symptoms of chlamydia again? Oh, I don't know. It could, yeah, it has to be lingering. No, the doctor gave us medicine. It's not lingering. This stuff don't lay dormant. Well, eventually he goes, so do you want to know the truth? Yeah, I want to know the truth, or I wouldn't have asked you in the first place. And he admitted to sleeping with her. You guys, at that moment, I don't remember a lot. I remember falling to my knees, screaming out to God. I was so destroyed. I was so destroyed at that moment. Next thing I know, he's at my house. He's calling this woman on the phone. He's telling her to leave him alone, never bother him again. But the fact is, yet we have chlamydia yet again because he decided to get a blowjob in a parking lot at a restaurant. This nasty little person that he is and she is. And she's married. So I take him back again. And he promises to gain my trust back and never lie again. And we're going to work on it. And he knows, don't touch me. We got to get rid of this disease, this STD yet again. I have to go to my doctor again. After I had just come from him 2 weeks prior being clean. I have to go back to him again and get us medicine. And I told him, I said, don't expect sex for a while because I don't want any more STDs. I'm really tired of this shit. And he accepted. So for a whole 30 days, you guys, we worked on trust. We worked on a bonding. And I thought he was really into it. And during this time, his ex-wife is diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. He has to take her to chemo, and yada, yada, yada. Well, the day she starts chemo, he leaves the house, our house, to go take her to chemo. And on the way, he stops at his mother's house with his ex-wife. Now, his mother hates his ex-wife. She's kicked that woman out of the house years ago. Told her never come back. Somehow, this ex-wife and the mother decide that the ex-wife is going to stay at his mother's house during her chemo. Which means that my narc has to be there to help his mother. To help the bitch on the couch taking chemo. Without asking me. He called me. Now here we had worked for a whole month. I was actually getting to the point where I believed him. Then he calls me from chemotherapy with this ex-wife and says, I have to leave. I have to go be with my mother and my ex-wife. Yep, he did. He sure did. We both cried. I cried, he came, got his stuff, we cried. It was horrible. It was one of the most dramatic, drama-filled days of my life, besides the day that he gave me the STD for the 3rd time. I was devastated. I had worked for 30 days to trust, and I felt he had worked, and we were making progress, and he left. He left, guys. He packed and he left, and he went to be with his ex-wife at his mother's. Well, he did come back. About 2 weeks later, he came back begging, saying he was sorry, and moved back in. During this time, his ex-wife ended up in the hospital yet again, and stayed there 14 days, guys, for pneumonia. Now, they tried to kick her out several times, and she refused to go. Finally, they said, you got to go. Well, nobody. This woman was such a bitch. She was such a rip-off. She ripped off her own children. Her kids wouldn't let her live there. Her kids' spouses wouldn't let her live there. The mother-in-law definitely wasn't taking her back. She had nowhere. Her friends wouldn't take her in. She had nowhere to go. And my narc was telling me, well, I've got to go be with her in a hotel so she's not homeless. And yes, I opened my home to his ex-wife. I let her sleep on my couch. And I let him take her to the doctors, and I went along, and every day before we get in that car, he'd say, no matter what she says, be nice, Tammy. This woman would cut me down in front of the doctors. She would cut me down in the back seat. She would call me names. I would cook for this woman, and she wouldn't say thank you. She would cut my food down. And he sat there and let her do this. Well, finally, after 10 days, I said, that's it. The bitch gots to go. I am done. And, you know, I have to say that he had picked a fight with me that morning. And we had taken pictures, and he's like standing behind me in these pictures, and you could see this hate look on his face as he's looking at me. And I'm all happy and joyful, thinking everything is okay. He left me that day too. That day, we had given each other rings. Well, he had had me buy, of course, a set of gold rings, a commitment rings, and I did. He didn't have the money. He never had the money for anything except for to give his wife money, his ex-wife money, or the bitch that was sucking his dick, giving us chlamydia. He never paid for the doctor's appointments, the medicines. He never paid rent. He never paid for anything, you guys, ever. And I felt sorry for him because he only made a minimal, and I mean, I could go on and on and on. This guy had me so conned. He left me so devastated in so many ways. This guy ended up throwing the little gold ring back at me and telling me that the ring was trash just like I was. And he moved out that day and he went to live with his ex-wife in a hotel room. Now, I tell you this story for one reason. And not to bring back bad memories, because frankly, it bothers me that I was so gullible. But it doesn't bother me anymore to the point to where I take him back or I miss him or I wish I had done something different. Because the fact is I had been doing something different every time I took him back. I changed something. Every time I took this guy back thinking that, oh, this will work, this will work. Me taking his ex-wife into my house, this pig, this disgusting person, it was so far out of my character. But I did it because I thought he loved me. I thought he felt trapped about having to be there for her. I thought his loyalty was with me. You guys, his loyalty never was with me. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. The last time we broke up, he went back to her. Again. And not only did he go back to her, he lied to her. He said stuff to her that was not true. And he's over in my face saying stuff to me that's contradictory to what he's saying to her. But that's beside the point. They never stop. The manipulation never stops. Ever, ever, ever. And this is just one of the stories. One of the stories to the extremes of what I did to change myself and the surroundings so that my narc would love me and stay with me. They'll never stay, guys. Ever. Ever. They're going to break up with you when they want to sleep with somebody else. They're going to start a fight with you when they want to sleep with somebody else. They're going to start a fight when they're chasing a new supply. But they're always going to come back and make you believe they're sorry. They're not sorry. These people don't know how to spell the word sorry, let alone feel the word. Love bombing comes in with all of this because they have to love bomb us to get us to take them back yet one more time and go, okay, I believe you. I believe you want to change. All the time they're giving you a list of what you have to do to make sure that you can keep them. Just saying. Just saying. So no matter what you've been through or what circumstances you're under, that you've taken that narcissist back yet again, don't be embarrassed. I have more stories. I have more stories on some of the things he's done to me, and I still took him back. There's no threshold when you're in love with somebody that doesn't exist. Because like the water, he can change on a minute-to-minute basis. Like the wind. And he will. And he will. And he will put on the ugliest, hatefulest, meanest mask and push your worst buttons to get you to pick a fight or to accept a fight so that he can get the hell out and go do whatever he wants without being accountable. People, we're all accountable for our lives. We're all accountable to what we do to people in our lives. And I have to say one thing. These monsters, these pieces of shit, hollow humans, will one day stand accountable for the chaos, the hurt, and the pain, and the destruction that they've caused in each and every life that they've come across and destroyed. And you can win today by claiming it, by getting back on your feet, by learning self-love, self-respect, self-worth, and self-acceptance. Don't let them win. Just saying. Remember to love yourself today. I hope this story helps you to understand that no matter how bad the situation, no matter what they've done, and you've taken them back again, don't be embarrassed. It's all part of the cycle. Peace.